Hello traders and welcome to the market opening preview on the Thursday, September 17th, 2015. Today's is brought to you through FXCL Excellence in Trading. Traders coming to you live from Pattaya, Thailand. Stormy weather, rain, wind for the last 2 days. It looks like we have another 2 days to come. Yeah, it's been kind of wild. I'm really surprised I have internet to tell you the truth, but it's working fine, so let's keep going. Traders, as you know, today is FOMC announcement day. We'll see if the U.S. raises its interest rates. We'll get to that in just a moment. Traders, let me introduce myself to you. My name is William Gilday. I'm your moderator for the market opening preview series every single trading day before the London Open. Traders, I started trading in 2006 and 2008. I retired from a wonderful 27-year career as a firefighter paramedic in the great state of Florida. Traders came to Thailand 9 days later for a 3-month holiday. Well, it's 8 years later, and I'm still here. Love trading in the Asia time zone and also living here. It's really great. But I trade like a normal human being. I get up in the morning, go to sleep at night. And I trade all 3 time zones. However, I do only trade about 3 hours in the New York session. Traders, I look at charts and fundamentals and put them together. I'm looking at price patterns and candlesticks and trying to make a informed judgment where opportunities and probabilities are on my side of the trade that I'll be successful in winning that trade. And it just takes some work, and I start early in the morning and I end late at night. And that's just the way it has to be, and especially in the sentiment of the market today. If you would have asked me 4 years ago if you needed to be to know about fundamentals, I'd say no, you can trade technically and you'll be fine. Well, it's not the case today. One person gets in front of a mic, and let me tell you, you can be whipsawed out of a trade pretty quick. All right, let's move on. This is our risk disclaimer. Forex trading has a large potential rewards, but also a large potential risk. You must be aware of the risks and be willing to accept them in order to invest in the Forex markets. Traders, don't forget, do not trade with money you cannot afford to lose. Traders, always remember that past performance of any trading system or methodology is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, let's get over to news and commentary. Quite a wild week. A lot of people on microphones saying what the Fed's going to do, what the Fed's not going to do. Now they even got polls out showing what's happening. We had some bad numbers come in New York. However, I'm looking at the indices and they're all in the green. So let's just take a look at that real quick. The US 30 closed up 0.84%. The S&P 500 closed up 0.87%. And the NASDAQ closed up 0.59% with the small cap 2000 closing up 0.72%. Quite nicely. Let's take a look at the Eurozone. The DAX closed up 0.38%. The FTSE 100 out of London closed up 1.49%, with the CAC 40 up 1.67%, and the Eurostoxx 50 out of Frankfurt up 1.38%. Wow, had a lot of gains in that side. Okay, let's come on over to Asia. Remember, these countries are currently trading. The Nikkei 225 is up 0.99%. The S&P ASX 200 out of Australia is up 1.54%. The Shanghai is down 1.54%. And the Hang Seng is up 0.43%, with the Kospi out of Seoul at 0.16%. So that's what's going on as far as our indices go today. Pretty good, mostly green people, trading and doing their thing. Surprisingly, volatility's been up. We did get some price action yesterday, but I've got to tell you, the charts look pretty ugly today. We'll get to that in just a moment. Let's talk about our economic calendar. It's pretty full today. So we did have some New Zealand data that had gross domestic product, GDP. They were expecting 0.5. They got 0.4. Our next high impact is going to be about 30 minutes before the London Open. We have Governor Kuroda speaking, Bank of Japan's Governor Kuroda speaking, which is the finance man. Also out of the Swissy, 30 minutes into the London Open, we have the LIBOR rate. And then we have the SNB monetary policy statement. These are all high impact data right at the London Open. 90 minutes into the London session, we have retail sales out of the Great British Pound. Then we come down into the U.S. session, and the U.S. has building permits, unemployment claims, Philly Fed Manufacturing Index. And then in the afternoon, which is 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you have FOMC economic projections and FOMC statement and federal funds rate, which everybody is expecting. And Forex Factory has it at 0.25%. So that's what they're forecasting. So we'll see what happens. I think that's going to be the big one for today. But, you know, it does look like people are trading and things are moving right along. So that's what's our economic count is. It's quite full today, to be honest with you. So we'll just keep an eye on that. All right, let's commentary today is just really cover yourself. You know, if you're going to take a trade, it's not time to go walk the dog, go to the mall, you know, go fix your iPhone. You know, today's not the day to do that. If you take a live trade until you get break even, you need to sit in front of that computer until you get break even. And that's just the way it is, because somebody comes out and says something, they will whipsaw this market in a second. The market is really on eggshells, and I really hope they raise interest rates 0.25%, and let's get this over with and behind us, and get back to some normal trading. I'm looking forward to Friday and Monday, where we can get back to some real trading, where everybody's back, all the vacations are over, all the holidays are done, and we get back to some good Forex trading, and let's get a move on. All right, let's take a look at our first chart, and that's the euro dollar. Remember, these are 30-minute charts, my friends. That means every single candlestick on the chart is 30 minutes in duration. This is pretty good. This is a great price level right at the moment. We're at 12.94. I'd like this to push up just a little bit, like to 12.97 or whatever, and get a bearish candlestick formation. We're at resistance. You can see the yellow line there, but also you can see we're at the 200 exponential moving average. And I'd like to take profit at our resistance line there, that yellow line, which is done with an EA, and that's at 1.1220. Now, we do have some bumps in the road. One is we have this daily pivot point that there's a good chance that this is going to bounce off of that. So you might want to get to break even once you get to that daily pivot, because you know it's going to bounce. And then I think from that point forward, I think you pretty much have a downward motion down. I think you're going to get some. I just think you're going to get some bumps in the road. But I think as a trade, I think it's great. Yeah, I think going into FOMC, you want some dollar strength here. I'm kind of curious to see how and I won't be up for it. That's 1 o'clock in the morning for me, so I won't be in front of charts or anything when that data comes out, because you know, it's 1 o'clock in the morning for me. So, and I'm not getting up for Janet Yellen for 1 o'clock in the morning. Sorry about that. I had to stop the video as I had some major damage to my front door of my condo because of this weather. The wind grabbed my door and slammed it so hard it broke the door. So my landlord was peeking in as I was doing this recording. So anyhow, I don't remember where I was at, but basically we just want to sell this and take this down. We're going to get some bumps in the road. I think it's a good trade. I think having some dollar exposure is okay, but I would be out of this way before the FOMC. I'm like London close, I'd be out of everything. That's going to be 4 hours before the FOMC, and just get out of your trades. Either secure them at break even or just get out of them. I wouldn't have anything where you can possibly lose pips. Okay, this is the pound dollar. Remember, these are 30-minute charts. What has the pound done? Wow, has this gotten bullish on us or what? Well, this to me is a double top. I know they're not exactly this way, but this to me looks like a double top. And if this came down, it came down. You know, this is pretty powerful here, and I'm really looking for this to come back down. So I'd like to see this. I did a fib on this. This is the only thing I can do, and I was able to get 2 candles to the right, 2 to the left on both sides, which confirms, that price isn't going to get past there. So, this candle, when I took the screenshot, you can see it's blue. This might just continue upwards, folks. This anything is possible. But I would like to see this come back down to 54.76, which is a 618 fib, and then go back up again. So I'd like to see a pullback and then take it back up again. And you can do it that way. You could have drawn a trend line on this and used the trend line as your bounce area, take it back up. But this is some pretty significant resistance here at this 55.20 area, 55.30 area. I'd be careful at this area. I think we got a lot of people that are on the other end of the trade that's going to fight you on this one. So just be careful. And it's going to depend on what the dollar does today. It's going to be really interesting. London Open is going to be very interesting today, depending on how the markets react to the dollar today. You know, we had a weak dollar yesterday, and it's going to be really an interesting trading days. You know, overall, I think the charts look horrible. This is one of the better looking ones, to be honest with you. So this looks like an okay trade. Just need the pullback once to take this to the upside. I would not enter this here, though. If it breaks this, you have to wait for a retest to come back and then take it up, right? Because we don't buy at resistance, right? If it breaks out, that's fine, but we need a retest, and then we can buy it, and that comes to support. So just be really careful with this. Really, really careful with this. This looks overdone to me, overcooked. So just be careful with this one. All right, let's take a look at the Aussie dollar. The Aussie dollar, this has been in this uptrend here for a little bit. I'm bearish on the Aussie. I really don't want to buy the Aussie. But for a quick 30 pips, you know, I'm not shameful. So I just basically want this to get as close as I can to this daily pivot, which is a 618 at 71.77. Then we'll take it to 7,200. You know, this is only like a 22 pip trade here. This is a small trade. Me personally, I'm not taking any live trades today. I say that now. It's early in the morning for me, but you know, I say that in Thailand. So I say that now. Well, you know, what happens at London Open is a whole different story. But you know, I'm really not looking to jump into anything crazy at the moment. So we'll take a look and see what happens. Next one is the Euro Aussie. Out of a lot of the trades, this is probably the one I like the best as far as a trade setup. Now, I'm bearish in this. If you take a look at this chart and you open this chart up, this isn't a bearish trend. So we've closed above this pivot. So this is bullish. Well, that's great. But I don't want to buy this really unless I want it. Now, if you want to counter trend trade this up to our sell area at 58.11, that's fine. And then just take it down, that's fine. There's no problem with that. So we can pop this, let this go to the upside. If you want to take the trade to the upside, you know, just be, again, this is where you got to be your charts and watch it. You got to all one pivot right here. You got to watch, and then we come to our resistance level where we want to sell this. I want to sell the Euro Aussie. I don't want to buy it. I'm not selling it here though because I don't want to come back into. If you look left of the chart, look at all this price action here. I don't want to sell into that. I want to sell where we have some clearness and we can get down. What's, you know, the goal in trading is capital preservation, right? We don't want to be, you know, losing pips and losing equity to the broker, right? You know, if you don't have any money in the account to trade, you can't trade tomorrow. So capital preservation is the name of the game, and that's why you got to be really careful with these trades today. It's gonna be a wild ride, I think, through the markets today. So we'll see how this is, and the euro is strong, you know, and the Aussie is weak. So we'll see how this goes. And on this chart, it's showing that the euro is weak and the Aussie is strong, which is kind of strange. But yeah, so we'll see how this works. But either way, you can take this from either side. My bias is I'd rather sell the Euro Aussie than buy it. So that's why that's the trade plan. All right, let's take a look at an ugly chart. Remember, these are 30-minute charts. This is just ugly, right? Look at this price action. Like, you know, even though I got to say, this sort of worked here. Decision, indecision, decision at resistance, evening star. Look at that. Came right on down to the 200. Nice move here on this 30-minute chart. Really nice. Did exactly what I was supposed to do. Supposed to, you know, it's reversal pattern and worked. Came down to the 200. You would expect that, and there we are. However, I don't want to trade into this. I don't want to trade this with all this price junk here. I call this Forex junk. And we got to get through all this mess here. You got a 200, you got a daily pivot point, and you got a support zone through the EA right here on this yellow line. So this needs to get way down below this. This needs to close below this yellow line, give me a retest, which now comes resistance, and then I'll sell it. You've got to be really strict on your guidelines today, where you're going to sell and where you're not. And if it needs a retest, you got to wait for that retest. Okay, so you're gonna have to be pretty alert. And we're just gonna take profit at the S1 pivot, and that's at 135.28. So this is good for a good 50 pip trade here. You know, if this works, you know, even though we're gonna wait for it to break through all this, we have a really nice trade here. You know, I wouldn't want to be trading into the 200 and a daily pivot point that's right next to each other myself. So this trade might not even work out. This might end up sideways. In fact, all these pairs might end up sideways, waiting for this data to come out. Let's take a look at New Zealand now. You want to look at a messy chart. This is ugly, ugly, ugly. You know, I don't really like this chart at all. I mean, first of all, the only thing I'm going to do with the New Zealand dollar is sell it. I'm not buying the New Zealand dollar, I should say. I might on one of the cost pairs, but I'm sure not doing it on this pair here. So we need to pull back up to the daily pivot point at 63.53, and we'll bring it down to our support line, that yellow line there, and the 200 exponential moving average at 0.6330. And, you know, again, there's not a lot of pips here, folks. You know, this was definitely not on my watch list. I have no idea what this is going to do. This is really a mess right here. And this is only a 30-minute chart, so just be really careful if you're going to play with the New Zealand dollar today. Traders, on behalf of myself, William Gilday, and our great friends at FXCL, Excellence in Trading, I wish you a great trading day, and please be careful. And don't forget the big FOMC, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 a.m. Bangkok, Thailand time. Traders, have a great trading day, and always remember to trade smart and not hard. Take care, traders, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye now.